How are we going to cut our indices? Okay, we're going to do this as a preparation index. I wanted to show you how it was thick. This was done hand by hand, okay? You could do it inside the patient's mouth by a bigger tray, a sectional tray, but it's wide and it's thick and you don't fully seat it. So I have enough occlusal thickness. I have enough lateral thickness. Why do I need the thickness? I don't want it to distort. I don't want it to bend away from the tooth while I'm using it as an index. How do we cut it? I've seen people cutting using burrs. I've seen people cutting using different wax knife, but I prefer a blade when you cut rubber material to be accurate. I'm going to go in the index. I could go in multiple lines. Where am I going to cut it? I could use a cut that is vertical over the occlusal surface, okay? I could use a mesial cut. I could use multiple indices. Yani this index could be done as one cut, or I can do multiple cuts. The property of this index that I have more than 2 teeth on this side, more than 2 teeth on this side, that means I have enough to reorient this back into the patient's mouth. Okay, so I'm going to cut it. I'm going to use the blade. I prefer you use one pressure because the blade will cut different. I don't want flushes. Okay, so I have cut it from half. So if I put this from the back, I will get this view. Now from this view, I would be looking at the tooth from half of the occlusal surface, and I will know how much I have reduced and comparing to this. This is the important of the thickness I told you about. If this was thin, it will be moving away like this. If it moves away and I'll get space, this will confuse me. The second property, not only the thickness, I also should be wrapping the soft tissue. Okay, because if this was on the tooth alone, what will happen? It will keep opening and closing, and especially when I have the tooth prepared, I will not have a reference. It's going close or going away from it. I don't have a reference. So the index should be covering the soft tissue buccally and lingually to the tooth. If I'm using the distal index, the distal half, I could look directly at the tooth. If I'm using the mesial half, okay, if I'm using the mesial half, I need to use indirect mirror. I have to put a mirror and look back at it. It depends on which one. So the distal half is easier for me to use. Okay, the soft tissue had worked as a stopper for the index to go in, and now it's adapted here, and now I can prepare confidently. Can I do more than one cut? Yes, I can. If I want to go, suppose I have finished the mesial, I prepared the occlusal surface. I was not sure about the distal. Did I prepare enough or not? So if I want to recut it and go more distally, I could do that. But once I've done that, I've lost the mesial, the central area. I'm going to keep it, by the way. I'm just going to show you how I could ensure that I have done enough reduction on the marginal gingiva, for example. I cut my material. Okay, I put it back. Now I'm looking more specifically, at the marginal gingiva. So when I'm cutting the marginal gingiva, I'm looking at the distal. This section looks at the central. So I could cut my section. If I have enough thickness, I could use multiple sections of this, and even I could go with this one and go and make a mesial cut through the tooth and check my marginal gingiva reduction mesially. So can I cut the index more than once? Yes, I can. Okay, see? I could even use this section. Now I'm looking at the mesial area. Okay. Yes, so I could section it. There is another way of sectioning indices. I could section it horizontally. If I want to section it horizontally, this was one of our bad indices. I just want to make it for demonstration purposes. I'm going to remove the excess. By the way, remove the excess from the indices. Only leave 2 teeth outside, 1 or 2 teeth for the side. Okay, could use horizontal cuts. Why do I need horizontal cuts? I want to look at my axial reduction. Okay. Yeah. The axial reduction, I could see it with the vertical, but I want to be more close. I could make horizontal cuts. So suppose I'm going to do this. I'm going to keep this area. I'm going to go. This is one cut beneath the tooth. I'm going to do another cut, half of the teeth. Okay. Halfway between the teeth. And I'm going to put it on the index here. Suppose this is my index. Sorry, this is for this side. Okay. Okay. And I could remove this section and look at my axial reductions. Okay. See? I could use it like this. And even look at my gingival. If I have another cut, I could look at my gingival preparation. Okay? So it depends if I want to look axially. Where do we use this? Horizontal cuts of the index, we use it sometimes with the veneer preparations. If you want an index for the veneers. If this was the upper cast, I take the index and then I cut horizontally across the teeth from the incisal, from the midpoint, and from the gingival part, and I'll know my reduction at each point if I'm using an index as my preparation. Okay, thank you.